Well, good late morning, early afternoon, Jetty Rockers. Welcome back to Jetty Rocks Fishing. I'm Captain Mike D. As you can see, I'm in the truck. I'm going on a little bit of a road trip today. It is fall, it's November, and for many people, that means pumpkin spice season. But for us down here in Florida, us flow-grown guys, it is oyster season. So I'm gonna go meet up with my buddy Ian from Tug Trash Outdoors, and we're gonna see if we can't find some oysters. Let's see what we can get into, y'all. Wish us luck. All right, guys, well, we made it out on the water. I got Tug Trash, my boy Ian, and we're in a little, we got two big guys in a little boat. You should see me when I stepped on this thing. I about fell out. But we're gonna see if we can't get some oysters, and we'll show you how we do that. All right, y'all, we're gonna get out, start going through these oysters, see if we can't find. So they gotta be 3 inches to keep. You gotta be 3 inches. And I got a mark on my hammer, my little color right here. This thing's about 20 years old. All righty, guys, here we go. We are at our first spot. Muddy, there we go. Muddy, muddy, muddy.
Boat's about to hit you.
Oh, got it.
I got the stake down in the back, so.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There's two right there. Oh yeah. There's one right there. That's a nice one to show you how big they are. That's 3 inches right there. That's well over the 3 inches. That's almost like a 5-inch oyster.
I've been looking at 3 inches my whole life. I'm a pretty good gauge of it.
All right, guys, so what you do is you just walk around till you see one that you like I'd like this one right here. Pull the whole cluster up. Okay. You just start taking your hammer or your color and you start removing the ones that you don't want. Like these here I don't want these little ones. And there's an oyster that I want. Like that. These are some good looking oysters, y'all. Very good looking oysters. And I did have some other ones on here that were pretty good. See this one right here? Now when they're like this, you got a big oyster here, you got a big oyster here, those aren't going to come apart. These little ones might, but that's about it. And you can take that, that's good. You can have a few stragglers. Say if that was a live oyster, you can have a few stragglers that are under 3 inches, as long as your main is 3. And both of those are nice. And we got one right here. This is a good looking oyster right here. There's actually two good ones on here. I don't think I can get that off. So that's a good oyster there, and this is a good oyster here. This little one isn't going to come off, I don't think. I don't think it is. So I'm going to take those two, and that'll be fine. Just look around for some more. As you can see, there's a ton of them here, y'all. There is a ton of them. There we go. Knock that off. You know what? There's a lot of little oysters on that. That is a good oyster, but there's so many little ones. I'm gonna let that go because there's plenty that don't have it like that. Okay, guys. Well, I got a big cluster like this, but I just want these two oysters. So I'm gonna start removing. That was a pretty good one too. So I'm gonna, right here, hopefully those two will break off. All right, there they go. Then I got that one that I wanted. This one straggler, see if I can get it off. Got it off, got that one. And then I got this one that I wanted. I think that was 3 inches too. Let's see, where's my mark? That's 3 inches, so I just want that one big one. There we go. There we go. Got that oyster, and then this one right here looks good. It's a nice oyster. Alright guys, as you can see, I already got quite a few. I've only been doing this like 10 minutes. Haven't been doing this long at all. I'm being pretty selective to the ones I want. And how I choose an oyster is, one, how big it is. You know, the right size has got to be 3 inches, and you want a nice size oyster, but also how easy it is to get it out of the cluster. That's another thing that I look at. Like this one right here, that's a big oyster. Actually, that one's not alive, but say that was alive, it's got so much around it, I probably wouldn't go for that one. Another thing, if you notice what I'm doing, yes, there's plenty of oysters up here. I'm not going for those because those are more exposed to the air and sunlight. I want the ones that are usually underwater. They spend most of their time underwater, and we're on a falling tide. We're on a negative tide today. So that's kind of what I do. I like to stick to the ones closer to the water and leave those ones up there. A lot of people call those coon oysters. Try to stay away from those. Oh yeah, we got a couple good ones right here. That's a nice one right there. There we go. That's a good oyster right there, y'all. A couple right here. Work on these. Yeah, both of those are good. Put those in there like that. I can break that off. There we go. All right, y'all. I got oyster right here. I want this one right here. Start knocking all these off, and there you go. That's a nice oyster right there, y'all. That is a good one. Very good one. That's all you do, just walk along, and just when you find one that you like, that looks the size you want and all that good stuff, use your tool and you'll get enough in a hurry. I mean, look at these. These are some good oysters right here, y'all. I couldn't afford to buy that in the store right now. They're so expensive. Come out here for an hour and get some delicious seafood. All right, I got a couple in here that I want. There's quite a few on here. So looks like I want this one. That one came off good. That one came off good. This one, let that one go. Let's see here. Let's see if it breaks off. That one came off good. I want this one right here. There we go. Break this off. Yeah, that's a nice oyster. All right, guys, this cluster right here, there's 3 of them on here I want. So we're gonna try to work these off. I want this one right here. I want that one and that one. So I'm gonna try to knock that right there, see if that'll break off. All right. That one came off. See if I can get this one to come off right here. Not breaking the oyster itself. Sometimes that can be hard to do when you want to break these apart. We'll see the best way to hold this. Okay, that one came loose. That one's going to be all right. I think he's good. Yeah, he's good. And then the rest of these, I don't know if I can break them off without. Here we go. Awesome. Got that one free. I got that one free. I got all the ones I wanted free. And those ones we didn't want, throw those back. All right, this cluster right here has got a few good ones on it. So we'll start working on this. See what we can do. That one's pretty good. Let's see here. That one's pretty good. Yep. All right. That one's not. Okay. There we go. Ooh, that's a nice oyster right there. Very nice oyster. That one's not bad either. These ones are pretty good. There we go. Oh crap. Sometimes that's going to happen. You're going to break an oyster every now and then, not meaning to, but that does happen. That's a good one right there. I got Ian over here working that area. Looks like he's coming to me. Let's see what we got. Actually, I got enough. I can stop right now and be happy. All right, y'all. We made it in. We're done. I think we'd probably do that for like maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I got plenty. Tug's got plenty. All in all, that was a pretty good little session. But boy, I tell you what, it's hard on your back. When you're all walking along those oysters, make sure you're very, very careful, because if you fall down and get cut on those, you can get infected, and it is no fun. All right, y'all, I'm back in the truck. We're heading to the house, and I think we're going to do a little catch and cook with these. I may do it tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Then we may make some maybe some traditional oyster stew. I think what we'll do with these. We'll get these home. I'll show you how I'm going to store them. I'm not going to clean them, and I'm going to explain to you why. I'll see you guys when I get home, and we'll get these guys on ice. All right, y'all. Well, I'm home. I'm going to go through my oysters real quick and count them. Then I'm going to show you how I'm going to store them for the next couple of days. That's a nice oyster right there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, and 85. 85 oysters. Yep. Okay. 86 oysters. Almost a full 5-gallon bucket. So basically I get 3/4 of a 5-gallon bucket, which I think the limit is 2 5-gallon buckets per person. So almost got half my limit, but personally, I don't go out there and try to get a limit. I just go out there and get what I can eat for the day or the next day, the next couple of days, and that's it, because I don't really have an area to store 2 5-gallon buckets of oysters, and we're not going to eat 2 5-gallon buckets of oysters in just a couple days. All right, so I got my cooler. I got the ice underneath here. I got 2 bags of ice, and I put a little towel down. What this does is keeps the oysters out of the water. You don't want oysters to be laying in water. So I just sit here, dump them in like that, and I don't clean the oysters until I get ready to use them, because the mud and everything kind of protects the oyster, kind of keeps them fresh. You start cleaning them off. If you're going to eat them right away, that's fine. If you're going to let them sit here for a couple days and you clean them, they can start to spoil. So you don't want to do that. Leave the mud on them until you're getting ready to use them, and then you can take them in and clean them, hose them down, brush them, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to let these sit here overnight, and I'll probably make something tomorrow or the next day. All right, y'all, I got about 50 oysters right here. These are some really nice oysters. I'm really happy with these. These are some really good looking oysters. But as you see right now, they look dirty. They don't look like anything you want to eat. So we got a brush here, got some water. We're just gonna clean them up real quick. And you'll see that they turn into what you're used to looking at really quick. Look at that. It's a lot different, don't it? Now this looks like something you want to eat. Just gonna go through, we're gonna clean up a whole bunch of these, get these ready. And we're probably gonna shuck some and make some oyster stew possibly. May even cook some other ways. I'm gonna get all these cleaned up. Just like that. And that's a pretty oyster. And then when we get done with this, we'll start the next step. All right, we got them nice and clean. We got some really nice oysters here. I mean, some really good ones. I couldn't be more happier with these. I mean, these are just absolutely awesome. I'd be ecstatic if I found them like this in the store somewhere and bought them. Just absolutely beautiful oysters. All right, guys, real quick, I'm gonna show you how to shuck an oyster. So I'm gonna grab an oyster real quick. Got one right here. I like to use a towel. I used to have a piece of leather, but I can't find it. I used to have a little piece of leather that I would use. I can't find it. I have here, this is a toadfish oyster shucker. This is, Ian gave me this yesterday. So right here where that little hinge is right there, you're gonna stick this in there. Kind of go, once you get it in there kind of good, you just twist it, and it pops that top off. You just cut that abductor muscle, take your shell off. There's a nice clean oyster. Just sit here and get that meat out. Just like that. There you go. And there's you a shucked oyster. I'll show you one more. Right there where that hinge is. Put it in there. Twist it. Get in there pretty good. Alright. You just cut the abductor muscle from the top shell. Like that. Sometimes you gotta just maneuver it a little bit. There you go. There's a nice oyster right there, y'all. Alright, well I need about 30 to 35 of these to make the oyster stew. I've already shucked quite a few. I'm gonna get the rest of these shucked and then we'll keep on going. Alright, I got them all shucked. Here's the ones I did earlier. I just did these. I'll put these in here. Alright, I got plenty to do some oyster stew. There's about 35 oysters right there, which is awesome. And I got all these shells, and I just throw these in my flower bed, and I just use it as kind of like a decoration. I kind of like the way it looks, and we're just doing that as we get oysters every year. We just fill it up. So that's what we do with the shells. So I gotta go get some ingredients to finish this oyster stew, and that's what we're making. All right, y'all, well, we're gonna start making our oyster stew. I got a nice little pot here. I'm gonna have a half a stick of butter, one whole yellow onion, oysters, and we also got some milk, and then you can't have oyster stew without some oyster crackers. All right, I got my butter going. I'll throw in my onion, and we're just gonna get those translucent. Take a little bit to do that, won't take long. All right, and to that, we're gonna add our oysters with the juice. There we go. Just let these cook for a little bit. They'll start to plump up. All right, so now we're just gonna add just a little bit of salt, not much at all. And I'm gonna put some black pepper in here. I do like a lot of black pepper. All right, like that. And cook these until the oysters start to cook really good. They start curling up a little bit. And then we'll add the milk. All right, so now we're gonna add in some milk. All right, I'm going to add in a little bit more. You do this, just eyeball this to how much soup you want, and that's enough right there for us. So that should be plenty. So now we're just going to keep stirring this every couple minutes until it gets to a very low boil, and then it's done. All right, and you want to get it to just slightly start seeing a couple little bubbles, and you see some steam coming off, and that's done. You don't want to boil it because you already really cooked the onions and the oysters. So basically all you really needed to do was just heat up the milk, and that's done. Got some good steam coming off, a few little bubbles, and that's it. So now I got my little bowl right here with some oyster crackers in it, and then we're going to try not to make a mess because I'm trying to do this one-handed, and I am going to make a mess. I can see that right now. So I'm going to put this right here. There we go. And we just sit here and just ladle this up some soup. Try to get as many oysters as I can. Got a couple of them in there. And you can put as many or as few oysters as you want to use. I used about 35 to 40 in this because I didn't want to use them all because I wanted to save some to make some other things. Well, we're going to do some oyster Rockefeller on the grill tonight and maybe just steam a couple. But there we go. That's oyster stew right there, y'all. And that looks awesome. All right, y'all, we got our soup right here. Okay, give me an oyster right there, a couple crackers. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God. Y'all, that's phenomenal. That right there is just my childhood. I grew up eating oyster stew. This is the way my mother used to make it. My grandmother. Super simple. I mean, it's super simple. It's stupid simple. But the flavor is just incredible. It's just awesome. And to me, it just feels like home. It just feels like my mom, my parents, my childhood, my grandparents. It's just awesome. This nostalgia food for me. And to this day, I make it all the time for my kids, trying to give them the same tradition that I got with my family growing up. And it's just awesome. If you guys have never tried traditional oyster stew, you need to give it a shot. You need to try it. It is incredible. Super simple, super good, and very, 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 very stupid tasty. It's awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys on the next one.